Welcome back, everybody, to IGN Live from Gamescom, brought to you by Homefront: The Revolution. Now it's time for one of the most talked about games of the show, Mirror's Edge Catalyst. Eric here is design director. Thanks for coming by the show.
Thank you for having me.
Man, people are really stoked.
Yeah,
to have Mirror's Edge back, to have Faith back, and it looks like you guys are doing right by her.
Yeah, I mean the reception is mind blowing. It's everybody's really happy, and it's just a joy to walk around and see people play it, and finally, they finally get to play it.
So a number of significant changes made to the game. First of all, it's an open world game now, right?
Yeah, we call it a free roaming title.
Okay.
So you play in the City of Glass, and it will gradually open up for you as you play through the game. But there's a lot of optional content, and lots of side missions and other stuff for you to take on in the city.
So what are we seeing here?
So here we're seeing one of our story missions from pretty early on in the game, where Faith has just returned to the City of Glass, and she's on her first real runner job for her runner cabal. And runners in Mirror's Edge Catalysts we've redefined the role a bit. So they're more like cat burglars, high-tech thieves, stuff like that. So she's actually on her way to steal a piece of data for one of the corporations that rule this nation. So she's on her way to the Elysium building, which is the biggest building you can see here in the Centurion Yards district. And moving through the city, there's been a sudden surge of Kruger-Sec activity. They're looking for something. And we're approaching the building here. And this part of the trailer here is taking place in Centurion Yards, which is one of these free roaming areas we have in the game. You get to fairly early on. Yeah, that's the Elysium building.
So there's a multiplayer component now, right? Or a social component? Is that more
yeah, so we're actually not talking about that yet. We have a social component that we think really fits with the theme of the game, but we'll be talking a bit more about that later. And now here she is entering the building. And one thing we've worked hard at is basically that we don't have any loading screens or anything like that. You can enter buildings and leave them, etc., and basically everything streams in. So we don't want to break the flow with basically long loading times like that.
This takes place before the events of the first Mirror's Edge, right?
So this is actually, Mirror's Edge Catalyst is a reboot. So we basically took the things we really liked about the first game, Faith, first and foremost, the type of the first-person free-running gameplay, and also the aesthetics, which we built on, of course. But it's a reboot. So we're telling Faith's origin story. So the events in the first game actually don't really exist.
Okay.
Maybe they will at one time in the future. Yeah.
Will we be? Is there any jumping back in time, seeing a younger version of Faith, or is it all here?
We'll see. Okay. I don't want to spoil too much of the story for you. So here Faith is climbing. She's trying to find her way to the agricultural department, where she's going to steal a piece of data. And well, there she spots another intruder in the building, and she decides to follow him. And that leads her into this secret area of the building, which is not part of the agricultural department. They're doing some other kind of research here, and of course, Faith being Faith, has to check it out. And what happens then? We're actually going to meet our antagonist in the game, Gabriel Kruger, who heads up Kruger-Sec Security and is the local boss of the conglomerate in the City of Glass. The guy in the middle there.
I imagine Faith will have to go up against this character at some point.
Potentially. Yes. We'll see. And here we're entering, Faith has to escape the building, and it's basically shutting down around her. The windows are closing and everything, you can see that, and all the Kruger-Sec guards are showing up. And it becomes quite hectic, but it showcases our new combat. So you can't fire guns at all in this game. So the combat is all about combining your moves and free running and just building up the momentum and then just launching yourself at your enemies and just take them out as efficiently as you can.
What led you to that decision? Because in the first game, the guns weren't the focus at all, but you could shoot guns.
Yeah, so we have several reasons for that. One of them is, with this being a reboot and us really defining Faith, who she is, what she comes from, there's a story reason for it, which I won't spoil here, but it's also something we didn't want to have, basically set out to create as few flow breakers as possible. Mirror's Edge is like, it's a beautiful thing to play when you have that perfect flow and you're just combining moves and you're chaining them together, and so we wanted combat to be part of that, and so we think of it as a subset of the move system, actually.
Have you announced a release date for Mirror's Edge?
Yes, we have announced a release date. It's out on February 23rd, 2016, so fairly soon, on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 and PC. I'm
very excited, and I'm not alone. Everyone out there is very excited.
I'm very happy people are excited. I am too.
Eric, thank you so much for coming by the show.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Mirror's Edge Catalyst. Stay tuned, more to come from Gamescom here on IGN Live after this.